Hi there. Welcome to the Noah Presgrove case. In response here, what I want to be doing is just responding back to some comments on some Facebook post in relation to do with WarLike Ref. Now, shout out and credit to the people that have, shared my videos about to other people here and share their thoughts on my videos in the comments. That's all great. But along the way, you do get some resistance, and granted, that's what's happened recently with a range of fake, dodgy-looking default accounts showing up on my channel all of a sudden. It could well be minions sent out from other channels out there from the Dylan Rounds case, wouldn't surprise me. So a few references. And if not that, could be people from one of the Facebook pages. It just so happens that a couple of humans that tried causing some kind of trouble and just complaining, whinging and whining, they just so happen to be on Facebook as well, within the Noah Presgrove's Army Facebook page, which is very interesting. And maybe some additional others who I've not seen before. Now, obviously, Facebook, this page can be good for research and just, listening in, trying to catch up, check for discussions. But, it's important that I do this video right now just to defend myself, right? There's no harm in defending yourself when false claims are made about you. Some of you will know back in the Dylan Rounds case, serious slander, defamation of character towards me. I've got to defend myself. Is it as severe here? No. But I just want to get the record clear, set the record straight so other people know what's up. And the ones that do cause trouble or disruption and it's just unnecessary petty behaviour, it really makes you think, where does their allegiance lie, or where does their mindset lie within the Noah Presgrove case? They claim to care about the case, but at the same time they're trying to undo it by trying to either silence somebody or just more so discredit someone, put false words in another person's mouth. It's just a little bit unnecessary. So a very small example. We just start off with this one, okay? There is another post further down, and I eventually found it. You'll be aware that a previous video that I did, I made reference and I said, I saw it, but I couldn't find it afterwards, but I have now, and we'll get to that. Where about is it? So this person called Brenda Goodfellow. Goodfellows, not quite the pizzas. More like Brenda Impetuous Fellow, and it'll make more sense shortly. Right, there we go. Brenda says, I started to listen to this guy. Brenda is referring to me, WarLike Ref. I started to listen to WarLike Ref. He began by saying what he was going to tell is theories and rumours. I stopped the podcast immediately. Well, if you have such an impetuous mindset, it's probably best that you do stop and don't come back. But first things first, one thing to make very clear. My channel, WarLike Ref, is not a podcast, and it never has been, and it never will be. Okay? I don't know what this mindset is with people out there, whether it be people directly from the US or all around the world. What's this obsession with podcast? Why does everything have to be labelled as a podcast? I don't get it. When you think of a podcast, it can consist of a person that may hide behind a screen, hide their face, and do a lot of talking for about 5 hours, right? May have guests on as well. The other type of podcast is where you show your face and you do like an interview with another individual or group. Sit around a table, oversized microphones and headphones rammed up against your face, and you just talk on for 5-6 hours. Is that what people like? Well, good for them. But my channel on YouTube, I am a YouTuber, I am a content creator. My channel is a hybrid. I cover ASMR sounds, dark ambient sounds, war horn sounds, in which one of which was used in a short Indian style film available on YouTube. One of my nature videos was used in a theatre group within a place of Japan, right? And then some other stuff along the way. Even some of my footage which appeared in Paramount Plus documentary on Dylan Rounds. There's a few exceptions there though, but there's a backstory as well. What I'm getting at is I do a lot of different videos, okay? And none of them are podcast. It's just not a podcast. You look at the definition of a podcast, it doesn't equal my channel. So Brenda has already got, misinformation calling WarLike Ref's channel as a podcast, or at least one of the videos. That's incorrect. That's misinformation. It's not a good look, Brenda, okay? Brenda also gives out more false information, misinformation, by saying that WarLike Ref said he's going to be talking about rumours. Nope, not once have I ever said that was my aim. What I originally said was, and it depends when you started watching my videos as well, original idea and what I put across, to learn about the case as I go along, to teach people who may be a part of my channel long time who haven't heard of this case before, so they to help them better understand the situation, and even new people that may come along. And then the other two main aims was to keep cases alive, like what I've done previously and what I'm trying to do here, and to simply spread awareness. Important things can be talked about on one platform, but they may go unheard of elsewhere, like on YouTube. So that's where I come in. On YouTube, there isn't that many people covering the Noah Presgrove case, despite what other people may claim. And on a day-to-day basis, there is absolutely no one except me that is on a day-to-day basis at this moment in time, at least, respectively. Okay? I've been able to do it in the past. It kept cases alive, new discussions, fresh faces, looking at things which have never been looked at that way before, interesting questions, key points. There's a lot to it. You might see it as a lot of talking, but there's quite a bit of depth behind it. And unfortunately, Brenda doesn't see it that way. Now, the bit about talking about theories, yeah, because at the end of the day, a theory, an idea, although it might not be concrete, is a hell of a lot better than somebody claiming something as a fact and it turns out to not even exist. That's harmful, that's damaging. But if you use correct wording and language, you tell an idea, a theory, based off a certain story, event, certain information, you can work around it. And it might just so happen that in the future, when facts, evidence comes out, evidence itself, that could reinforce the theory idea, which then becomes a fact. That's like how the process works, right? When talking about rumours, no, I'm not creating rumours. I'm not going to tell rumours. I don't know why Brenda even thought of that. Yeah, there are a lot of rumours and talk with time within the case. Yeah, I didn't start it though. I've only just got here. From 2023 onwards, been all kinds of rumours and talk and people not getting their stories correct, those within the case, right? The whole rumour thing is BS, and I'm not talking about the initials like bull, beep. So, I just want to clear everything up, right? My channel is not a podcast, even though some people claim it is, like Brenda. In addition, my channel is not a show, like how Jim Terry claimed in the past, and Bob Farrell and other idiots along the way. My channel is a channel. I'm a content creator. It's as simple as. It's not that hard to understand, right? YouTube's been going for some time. You'd think people would know by now, but clearly they don't. And final thing to clear up here. I talk about theories and ideas with appropriate wording so you know exactly where I stand on things and where the actual, situation is in the case. But I don't talk about rumours in terms of creating them. I don't. I might look at rumours told by other people and I'll use common sense to either debunk them or to try and understand where people are coming from. It's that simple. Unfortunately, Brenda doesn't understand. Anita says, I've watched all of them and he has a very good understanding of the case. Well, that's good to know, right? This looks like a person that's been around covering the case for quite some time, more experienced than me, but they seem to appreciate what I do, so that's obviously very good. This person, yes, I agree. He has a great understanding, WarLike Ref, yet I find that I get bored rather quickly. It's like, okay, get to the point. So granted, there's been a couple of people along the way that have demanded that I get to the point, but being honest, if I did get to the point, people would then complain and say my videos are too short and I'm not including all the information. It's the same thing that happened in life for me back in high school, in which I could be said that I'm waffling too much when I'm writing down on paper by the teachers. So I tried changing it up. I made it shorter. And you know what happened? The teacher said, hey, it's too short. You've not included this or that. You've done it wrong. So really, I can't win. It is a lose-lose situation, realistically. But at least this person says I've got a good understanding of the case, which is a positive because I've only been around for a very short time. So to be able to grasp and understand it quickly is very unique, because for most people out there, it may take a few weeks, it might take a month. Other people will write notes down on sheets. I don't do any of that. I use my head, my brain. So, on the go. It might be harder. I might put myself in the deep end, but it's to get that consistent flow of coverage, right? So people are up to speed with things and we don't hit like a dry or quiet patch as much. So that's why I do what I do. Now, my videos may be considered long, and Tamissa says she gets bored of them. That's just personal preference, right? But I wonder if Tamissa watches any of the podcast, those 3 to 4 hour, 2 hour long live streams, whatever they are, right? Because if they did, wouldn't that be considered a little bit boring because of the length of time it is? Would it be any different to my coverage? To be honest, my videos are shorter compared to some other people's out there. But it is what it is. Anyway, yes, I think it's because we know the story so well, but if it's someone just hearing about it for the first time, yeah. Like, I've just come in, so fresh face, picking up on it all immediately. New to me, not to other people. But it's about showing an understanding and leniency. Other cases that I've covered in the past, which I'm classified as an expert on, if some of the whingers and whiners within the Noah Presgrove case ended up coming to the Kenny Veach case or the Dylan Rounds case, talking about a lot, but obviously well behind on the latest news, I wouldn't be having a go at them. I'll just simply clear things up and say, are you aware of this? Are you aware of that? I wouldn't start rolling my eyes back and going off on one, getting all petty with him. The only time I might respond back in a different way is if the person starts acting very demanding or a bit rude and, things like that where it's unnecessary. Then I might respond back with a bit of a sharper tone, but for good reason, right? What else? We all know the things he is talking about, nothing new, but he is explaining it as if it was a discussion between two people having a coffee. I really enjoy his rational thoughts through the timeline, like Jack Newton texting his father about bringing him a fresh, clean hat to go fishing. It's nothing new to us, but when you hear someone else talk about it, the absolute absurdity of such text, it just proves and emphasises so much of nonsense within the case. I think it's worth listening. So shout out to Nat there. And you know what? I guess they do have a fair point. If someone like me who's just appeared out of nowhere and I'm on the same wavelength individually as other people that have been around much longer, it shows like a bit of uniqueness. It shows that, if you want to put it across in a non-insulting way, it just goes to show that even an amateur person like WarLike Raf, who's got less experience, can still pick up on this and that as all the others have. So it must stand out. It must be suspicious within the case for new people to pick up on it that quick. I get it. What else? Been only looking since 12 days, probably a bit more now. Brenda says, not off the top of my head, but I was watching someone posted in group. I did notice on YouTube he put it up, I want to say 9 days ago. That may be. I personally only want to hear the facts about what happened to Noah on podcast. This is where the contradictions come in. Brenda said that she doesn't like my videos because they're not straight to the point. They're dragged out, basically because they're long. And for Brenda, they're too long to listen to and it's boring. But she'd rather listen to a podcast which is even longer than my videos, which in a way, they're not exactly straight to the point podcast because it's a discussion. It's a long session where you're having conversations with one another and maybe, depending on the situation, interacting with the chat. Now, that's not for everybody, podcast. You can sit back, you can relax, you can listen in, and it can be longer format videos. So there's contradictions here with Brenda. Brenda complains, in a way, about the length of my videos because they're not straight to the point, but she's quite okay in listening to a podcast which is 2 hours longer than my video. Yeah, contradictions. We talk about people within the Noah Presgrove case demonstrating contradictions, contradicting themselves and their stories. Well, Brenda is doing a good job here within the community, okay? And what makes it even more ironic is she says, I only want to hear about the facts, and that's why I listen to podcast. Right, are you aware, Brenda, that one of the podcasts in recent time was claiming that the FBI have taken over completely? And then it was corrected on one of the Noah's Facebook pages by saying that was a mistake. What it was meant to say was the FBI have come on in to start assisting. So even podcast can get information wrong or exaggerate. Okay? So you might put podcast on a pedestal of purity, but even they can mess up. Are you aware of that, Brenda? Are you suddenly going to protest and walk away from whomever was the one responsible for that misinformation? I wonder. And as well, it makes me wonder, why is Brenda even here in the Noah Presgrove's Army Facebook page when the page has been criticised by strangers, whingers and whiners for it not being 100% pure focus, 100% ironclad truth? This page is a bit more informal, but the good thing is it allows more discussion, leniency, patience, questions, answers, people catching up, text messages, archived photos, screenshots, the lot. Even if it's people reposting others from within the case of stating this and that, which could be misinformation, but we get to see it ourselves. It's important that this page is, up and available in a way to a capacity, so people along the way can learn about the behaviour of those within the case and what they've had to say, even if it is misinformation, so you can monitor, analyse, maybe even study the behavioural patterns of the key players in the case who may have spread misinformation or contradictory stories. When it comes to the justice for Noah Presgrove, that's like the official formal one, which is moderated by the family of Noah Presgrove. So a page like that will be more restrictive and there might be less discussions and posts on a day-to-day basis. But when it comes to the facts, I'm assuming that that's what it's all about, that page, facts only. So I'm surprised Brenda is here. Why hasn't she gone over there then and stayed there if she's got such a problem about, things that may not be facts and just discussion or theories? So that's one prat to acknowledge, okay? The next one, just got to see it, it's this one here. So, anti-justice group are targeting WarLike Ref's channel. Maybe. Okay. Response-wise, we got Derek Adams saying that WarLike Ref borders onto conspiracy theories. Now, Derek Adams, does it give much? Not really. I think it said Derek Adams graduated from a university. A university of what? University of Impetuous Plums? Maybe. I mean, Would that course accept me? No, probably not. Anyway, let's just see what's said here. Derek, I will say, take this YouTuber's information, WarLike Ref's channel, with a healthy amount of caution. That doesn't sound too good, does it? WarLike Ref borders onto conspiracy theories, outside of any conspiracy which may be out there with regards to any sort of cover-up. In a recent video, he went on at great length about Google Maps images at the property of the party changing and alluded to a conspiracy with Google Maps. I asked him to not give conspiracy theories such as this any airtime. Secondly, he was incorrect about some property ownership, and I corrected him about it. His response was to call me an impetuous default profile, ? Well, you had a default profile on YouTube. You hid your face. As for your username, I don't know if you had an alternative username on YouTube. I can't remember. But, hiding behind a screen, complaining, whinging and whining, it's a bit silly, isn't it? And the reason for being impetuous was you completely misunderstood my point of view and what I was looking at. I mean, what I read here, and it's to do with WarLike Ref, it's like, what? It's so confusing, isn't it? The very first map analysis video that I did of the Noah Presgrove case was simply marking it out with the timestamps of what we heard through the timeline, saying that Noah was here, then he left at that time, and then supposedly Jack was here and then came back there. Just the basics, and even the markers as well as to where the body was. And then the only other thing I did was looking at the surrounding area. Oh, you got like some kind of quarry over there. You got a woodland back here. You got the dirt road. You got a train crossing. I was just simply pointing out what I see on the maps. And yet Derek Adams has basically, said that WarLike Ref is into conspiracy theories. And, some sort of cover-up. What? In a recent video about Google Map. It wasn't even Google Map, you prat. It was Google Earth satellite imagery. There's a difference between Google Maps and Google Earth. I don't think we need to respond back to this anymore in relation to this one particular comment, because if you can't even tell the difference between Google Maps and Google Earth, and yet you have the audacity to start labeling someone as being on the verge of a conspiracy theorist by labeling it as some kind of cover-up, and weird claims made about the party changing. What are you on about? Are you sure you watched my video? I think you might need to take a long, hard look at yourself. Very weird. But who were the people that agreed? Jerry L.A., Brenda, of course, as you would expect, Cody Williams and Chris Minto. All of these prats agree with WarLike Ref being some kind of conspiracist theory and saying that the party changed and that the party was a cover-up and it connects with Google Maps. Anyone else confused by this BS? And then the people that were shocked by it or it took them back was Bill Harmon, Lynn Tomlinson, Michelle Desjardins Lee, however you want to say their name, and Romy Hunter. Okay. Very disappointed in these people. That's all I'll say. He responded back, Romy, I've listened to a couple of WarLike Ref videos. He is really sketchy on some factual details and fills in his own blanks. I listened to one last night where he was just giving his own opinion of some other people's comments on Reddit, which are, of course, their own opinion too. I can't decide if he's going to get better or continue being boring as heck. And I'm British, he is too, and his voice drives me mad. Well, I'll tell you something. When it comes to the UK and the majority of the population, nothing but wretched dogs. I'm looking at one right now. Typical. A typical whinger, whiner. I wonder if Romy Hunter is related to Indiana 59. They probably get on well together with their obsessions towards complaining and whining, besides actually contributing to the case themselves, such as on YouTube. All they can do is complain. I mean, what can I say about this? It's weird, isn't it? Anything else to analyse here? Digital camera. Well, I think you need to improve on your photography. Very lacking. What else? Lynn, of course we all should use our critical thinking caps, but what my point is, someone doesn't want him posting their public Facebook information. Didn't this page report him? Not that I recall. Ace Lee has been reported, whoever that is. Well, he's not an investigator, he's a YouTuber, WarLike Ref. Look at all the crazy stuff that's posted here. It'd make a steel ball crazy. He's not giving a newscast, he's using information from podcast, none of which are 100% accurate. So to listen to these and accept total accuracy is just naive. That's a nice word for it. Luana. What else? Well, honestly, it is a cover-up. There's also a huge gap of lost time in their stories, and with Caden Pressey telling what he saw. And the three keep pushing the hit and run semi down our throats after it's been proven that it's not a hit and run. Several people are telling lies. What does Lynn say? He's also sharing publicly posted info on Facebook that may have been forgotten about or never seen. What's this? Chris. Yeah, I got on him just a tad bit about how his content wasn't really that interesting on his second or third video last week. He threw a small hissy fit and 2 or 3 of his bored viewers jumped in, so I resorted to closing it out with a cry baby emoji. Interesting. Do you have proof of one throwing a small hissy fit? I mean, normally when it comes to a hissy fit, you'd see a form of emotion displayed, and when you're trying to make sense or, observe it through a digital screen of text, it's not possible. There's no proof. Weird, isn't it? There seems to be a lot of humans about that have their own fantasies of how events played out. These people, Chris Minto, Brenda, the other guy up top, they're almost like a microcosm of the potential killers in the Noah Presgrove case. They've got their own fantasy of events and stories of how it played out compared to how it really did. I mean, shame on to all these individuals that say that they claim to care about the Noah Presgrove case, but at the same time, they're trying to belittle and shut down others stepping on him. The difference is, yeah, I'm a small channel. I might still be considered a nobody when it comes to being compared to other YouTubers. But I wouldn't be surprised if you had a big YouTube channel that came on in with 1 million subscribers or more. I think half of these people wouldn't be complaining at all. They'd be saying, yes, master, yes, mistress, please cover this. Okay, it doesn't matter if you're behind on information, you'll get there. It's all about the numbers and awareness. Oh, it's just because like a celebrity or a popular person has shown up, you're now going to change in behaviour and act more respectful. Yeah, typical. Should treat them all the same, with basic respect at least. These are fully grown adults who may have families, who may have kids. How did they teach their kids on respect? It's lacking, isn't it? I'm only 24. I started covering cases at the age of 20, and this is how the older generation treats someone like me. Disappointing, isn't it? I do understand that they say that the younger generations nowadays are quite disrespectful, rude, ignorant, arrogant, and whatnot towards older people. I think all generations can be just as bad, and I'm seeing a certain side here. But the bit about saying how I resorted to closing it out with a crying baby emoji, I mean, isn't that old news? And why are we turning it into such a big event? Is this because it's very significant to them? It's a little bit odd. What's this? I think it's just about collecting information posted in one swoop for newcomers to get interested. Don't know. I think a range of people have definitely underestimated me. Anita, no, this page has been supporting and sharing his videos. The two about being silenced are lower on the page. I think he has a good grasp on the highlights after only 12 days. I've only been here a good while, and I'm amazed his early videos were a learning curve. But I think he has figured out a lot of things in 12 days that others haven't in 9 months. Well said. And what's this one? How mature of you? How mature of you? I wonder if that's sarcasm there. So that's mainly it. Okay, not really seen any more negativity since, but let me just add on my thoughts. I don't know about you, but is anyone really confused as to what just went on then? As to everything that was said about me? I mean, normally I can respond back on the spot like that, but I think the sheer stupidity and idiocracy of what I've just been around and what I saw, I think my IQ has dropped a little bit too much this time. So just give me a second to, balance myself out. So, where do we start? I mean, little introduction maybe, even though I didn't give a proper one at the start of this video. Welcome to anyone who's watching. If you're as surprised as I am, feel free to rewind back. But maybe people have seen my videos in the wrong order. Of course, my first video may be not the best, but the ones after it can grow from it, just like anyone and everyone. The fact that I actually put myself out there, even if I do make mistakes at times or I do come across as uncertain, isn't it better to be uncertain instead of confident and you turn out to be a liar or you turn out to make big mistakes? If you're uncertain, okay, people might not have that presence, that feeling of confidence in believing in you, but it shows that innocence, like a genuine persona. You don't want to be too confident if you're a bit unsure. It's being cautious, right? Because you care to an extent. You don't want to harm a case. You don't want to destroy a case, right? Whenever I get involved in a case, head first or whatever you want to call it, it's trying to learn on the spot. Especially if a case is kind of old and it might be hard to find the original information, or you might not even know where to start to begin with. There's millions of people out there that will pick up on cases, new and old, might not be informed, they might make mistakes, but it's not as publicly talked about or documented because people are just doing it in the background in their spare time or full-time, whatever they do, right? But they might not record themselves, they might not make videos about it, but I do. So even if there might be some slip-ups along the way, at least I actually show my face. I don't hide behind a screen like other people do. All that criticism and talk from people on YouTube, oh, you've all got default profiles. That's so last year. Come on, get with it. I saw it within the Dylan Rounds case. Whine, whine, whine. Could they do a better job? Did they? No. Did they contribute to the case? No. Is it the same here? Well, we're talking about YouTube, absolutely. But as we saw today, some of those people on Facebook have obviously been watching my videos and some of them have commented as well, maybe under different names, most definitely with a default profile. The cowards, that's what they are. Pathetic excuses of humans. These type of people are some of the worst. And you know why? Because they say that they claim to care about a case. They're within a community which is all about claiming to care about the case. And whilst majority of people in that Facebook community, Noah Presgrove's Army, good people, the admins, good people, the main ones, the ones in charge, good people. And then, those that have shared my videos as well, good people. So all the important and key people in that like community and page who have reached out to me or vice versa, they have appreciated what I've done and my videos and my coverage. And that's what should matter the most, because they're the ones to have created that good page, which has then enabled everybody else to come together and learn over time. Everybody starts somewhere. And the people what we looked at today, and there could be more out there, are ignorant, arrogant tosspots, right? Including that blonde-haired individual from the UK. God damn it, what is it about people from the UK that have a problem with me? You know, I've said in the past that, in a way, I do detest most people from the UK. Not all, but most. I'm reminded why. Both online and in real life. It's typical. Don't know what it is with humans. Very strange. But it is what it is. But to link back to the key people on that Facebook page, you know, they understand me. They understand I've just come about, making sense of it all on the spot. As for the statistics, I mean, members over there, the bad ones, they're amongst it all. It's interesting when we, you know, look at it in a way, and people on other pages did as well at some point, that you might have spies, you might have informants, you might have fake accounts, alternative people, maybe those within a case, creeping on in, lurking on these different pages from Reddit to Facebook, and they're seen as a problem. I think your biggest problem or issues are those who are within, who stand out as just normal people, yet they seem to have a problem with people like me, who are simply trying to cover the case. When there's people on the inside who you think you can trust, this is like a Dylan Rounds situation. You know how that went. I made my predictions. I got it right. I would say that there might be people on these different pages in the minority that say that they claim to care about Noah Presgrove, but they're actually making a mockery of the situation by either silencing or discouraging, discrediting, trying to damage the credibility of somebody else, such as myself. Certain people who have complained should be grateful for my presence, considering, you know, of my following. If I have an audience in which I can relay information and do my own analysis as well, it means even more people learn about things along the way. I've got nearly 13,000 subscribers, over 5 million views. Doesn't that mean something, right? There's a bit of an audience. Of course, I don't like pushing it too far, that, because I know people will always get petty and respond back to me and say, yeah, you've got nearly 13,000 subscribers and only 20 people are watching. It's a Dylan Rounds case all over again, isn't it? That type of small-minded mentality, limited capacity and understanding. That's what separates YouTubers creators from those who are not. Those who are not, some of them just won't understand how it works when you do YouTube, when you are a creator, and when you talk about it statistically compared to live streams, live premieres, normal videos, short format videos, long format videos. They have no clue what they're saying. They're in no position to talk, yet they've still got the arrogance to talk. And we've kind of seen that today. Really is pathetic. But where does this all lie within the Noah Presgrove situation? You know, if you got anyone coming on in a genuine way, not to cause trouble, not to cause harm, but to just simply spread awareness, just like how anyone else does out there. To be greeted or welcomed in a basic way is obviously nice to see, but to be pushed back is kind of disrespectful, right? You shouldn't be pushing people away. If you want a case to stay alive and you want to spread awareness, and you need more traction and more people along the way, as many people as possible on the right pathway, you shouldn't be pushing them. And that's what some people have been doing to me, in a way, on that page, within. I'd say that's a little bit problematic. Now, you know, the people over on that Facebook page, those in control, they will know who's who and what's what, but just as a heads up to those admins on that Facebook page, just be extra cautious, okay? Because I've seen a few dodgy people as of today. Their attitudes, terrible. Their behaviour, pathetic. Extremely impetuous and egocentric. right? Now, it's now time to introduce WarLike Wrath, whether you like it or not. Now, I could bring out the tools, but it shouldn't have to be turned into a circus show, right? People may not understand why I'm doing this video, but it's important to me. I need to defend myself when there is a form of defamation of character or slanderous claims directed towards me. I'm being labelled as some kind of conspiracy theorist. You know how that can go. Credibility can be damaged there. Talking about maps and twisting it with the party. Nope. Far from it. Others diminishing what I've done on a case in a short amount of time, just like how people did in the Dylan Rounds case, just like how some that have gone on to the Noah Presgrove case that came from Dylan Rounds, and they diminished my coverage as well. There seems to be a reoccurring pattern that there are a range of humans out there that detest me. It could be an inner feeling of jealousy for some reason, who knows. You know, humans can become very obsessed with me, and it's just very unnecessary, but it is what it is. When it comes to a case scenario, I arrive, I learn, I cover, I relay, I analyse, I compare, contrast, think outside of the box, alternative theories, ideas, make some predictions, get it right, repeat. There's a lot to it, okay? When you get involved to begin with, you got to start somewhere, and that's exactly what I did. The very first video that I did, I looked at an official news source. I did the right thing. But with time that's passed by and learning from within these communities, the conclusion which I've reached is that official news article seems to be making a lot of inaccuracies compared to the inner news. And as well, I just find it interesting as a side subject. I'm receiving all this resistance. I'm not talking about being shut down or the videos being reported. I mean all the criticisms and false claims made about me, slanderous claims, which isn't right, is it? You know, you think of the Noah Presgrove case and how people have been acting there with some of their claims or stories, and it alternates with time. And then you got people in the community within that Noah Presgrove's army page doing the same exact thing towards a fellow individual coming on in, simply trying to cover the case. And that's how I get treated. Very silly, isn't it? There's many other creators, and it's not just YouTube, TikTok as well, where they might have a bigger following, so they might be treated more leniently, right? That's the thing in life. You could have an ugly celebrity male, but they're idolized or worshipped just because the famous popular, someone wants an autograph or a photo taken. Oh, yes, master, yes, master. You could get another individual who may look the same, but obviously not of the same wealth or popularity. And people will look down at them and think, who the hell are you? May even ridicule. Oh, you won't ridicule that person just because they're popular, but you'll ridicule this person, yet they share similar characteristics. It's just that one's popular, the other one isn't. People switch and change based on the situation or the type of person they're around. So once again, it's just human behaviour failing. You call it de-evolving, if that's even a word, going backwards in evolution. Maybe in certain ways. You know, we talk about the degeneracy on TikTok, the way that is. But I just find it funny how, yeah, I do receive all the criticism, but, you know, there are other YouTubers out there, there's other people out there that cover the case. I mean, what about some of the discussions on the Noah's Facebook Army page? Like, there was one post in recent time talking about Caden Pressey getting threatened 300 times, and there was a screenshot of someone saying, your house is very flammable, like a death threat or some kind of threat saying, we're going to burn your house down. And it's some random person out there online who's trying to silence Caden. As shocking as it may seem, of course, the video was posted in 2013. Are you kidding me? And people have the audacity to say that I'm messing up in the case. And you get people over there. Not all, but some. This is really pathetic. I think we really do need a shake-up, but I'll be honest, I can't do it right now because I still need to learn about the case and try and get a firm grasp and understanding. In my head, I have a way of covering cases and understanding it. And, you know, my nickname is Mr. Misunderstood. I can be labelled many things. I can be accused of many things. But obviously, it's not true. You know, in the past, I was falsely accused of being a trafficker. What? Exactly. It's no different to being labelled as some kind of conspiracy theorist and weird things going on with the maps. It's just weird. These people are really odd. Maybe, I think what tends to happen is if I've been around long enough in a case and I've learned long enough and I've gone round and round in circles, you know, so it's embedded into my mind, I can respond back sharper. But because obviously I'm new to the case, I'm still treading along lightly, okay? I think me telling people off won't really do the case much good at this moment, but if it does persist onwards or it continues onwards of these cancerous, disease-ridden humans from what I saw today, if it does continue in the future, we're going to have a problem, okay? And that's me being very serious. We will have a problem. I had problems with humans in the past. They were cleansed. Okay? If we need more cleansing in the future, that's what I will do. Really pathetic, isn't it, these humans, what we see? But for most part of it, those that collect here, good individuals. Those that have remained here for some time, godlike. Simple as. I don't know why humans, some out there, have such a problem with my coverage, and all they need to do is just reflect on themselves or the page which they engage on, where mistakes have been made along the way. The fact that a person from the UK has had a better grasp and understanding of the story in the matter of 12 days compared to others out there that have been around since 2023, it really says a lot, doesn't it? You might wonder why my voice sounds a little bit different this time. I'm in the energy conservation program at this moment in which I don't use up excess energy on cretins, okay? Keep it at a minimum, preserve energy, apply it for the future elsewhere. That's what I do, right? But yeah, some of the criticisms, what I've seen, you know, it's been said other times by other people with time. But at the end of the day, whether people complain or not, some do come back on their hands and knees. And I'll tell you something. If these disease-ridden humans come back to my channel in the future and praise me, don't think for one second, am I going to be all grateful or not? I do remember what people have done and what people have said. I never forget. Okay, I've been described as an elephant, not in terms of my size, but more so in terms of what I can hear, what I can remember. Okay, so we'll see how that goes in time. If I haven't already made it clear in terms of my channel and how I do things, I need a baseline. Look at certain news, official news, maybe work backwards or work forwards, and at a certain point then reflect back. But along the way, I use the form of Google Earth, not Google Maps, as some cretins say. There's a difference. But Google Earth, you know, what you can see on Google Earth is really good, okay? You can map it out, add the markers in, and then it helps when you're retelling the story or the supposed events, right? And this is the other thing, people could say, oh, all this YouTuber is doing when he comes in is just telling the same old story. reusing information from podcast and this and that. I mean, do people even bother watching my videos? I've looked at the house party footage, original, done my own analysis. I've looked at the post by Jasmine Millan, original, right? It might have appeared in a podcast, but, the podcast has used it from somewhere. I've used it from somewhere. You have used it from somewhere. It has to be collected somewhere. It has to be created by someone in the first place, and that's the bloody people at the party, you fucking plum. How do people not pick up on that? Text messages come from the horse's mouth. That's what I've said in my videos with time. Screenshots, photos, party footage comes from the horse's mouth. And then Facebook has then started reposting it on their pages. Not exactly original, is it, if you want to be critical? And then Reddit has reposted it themselves, but they've not caused me any problems, so that's good. There was the odd person on the Reddit that was a bit of a knob, but I think other people were made fully aware of that. But yeah, Justin Roy, what's your thoughts on this? A little bit unnecessary, isn't it? Some of these people's attitudes. I mean, has something happened in the background for people to be in a bit of a mood, a bit overly critical at this moment in time? I mean, as for that blonde person that said, oh, I can't stand that person's voice, well, I've got bad news for you. I can do 15 other accents from different countries and even within the UK. Maybe I can even do your accent as well. God forbid it if that day does come. But I think at this moment in time, we just leave it there. Don't worry, there is a critical video coming afterwards. I think what people do forget, or not realise if they've not been around before, is that when I've done videos in the past, I need to look at something to analyse, to read over, and then give my thoughts along the way. I can read an article, I can read a comment, and then I can add commentary over it. It's exactly like what everyone else does, and they're not called out for it. Why should I? Right? I see things which other people don't see. I hear things which other people don't hear. And that's not in terms of hearing things that don't exist. Let's not go down that route. But, there's been countless times now that when I've covered other cases, people have been absolutely shocked by my presence. Shocked by what I've said, what I've seen, what I've picked up on. 5 steps ahead. Could it apply here in Noah Presgrove? Well, maybe the actions need to do the talking with time. I've still got video ideas, but I kind of still try and stay online with the current talk and discussions because I don't want to miss out. I don't want to become ignorant to it. That's why I try and use it as a form of learning. But when I get to that point, I can start thinking outside of the box. That's why I obviously do. And that's where I might shine more so. But I would say the reconstruction, I mean, look at these people didn't see it. Who else does a reconstruction, a fairly detailed one, of the usage of whatever's around with one's, creativity, like the characters and people recreating the scene of what's happening? I was the only one to do that. I'm the only one to do it in the Kenny Veach case. I'm the only one to do it in the Dylan Rouse case. No one else has done it. That's what makes it original and unique. But these ignorant people obviously don't bother watching it or waiting to see it. So that's on them. But I do so much coverage in many different ways, and it will show with time. You can't expect it to show immediately because there is a process to everything, and there is kind of like a formal way of doing things. But some of the ideas and concepts, what I need to do, could be more outside the box, and I'll do that. It's like one of those things where it's like a lose-lose situation. I do what I do the right thing, and then I get called out for, looking at the comments, looking at the post. I do my own thing, and then I get called out by other YouTubers where they're saying you're copying me. I didn't know people had exclusive rights to one case and only one person can cover one at a time. Oh, that person, what a pathetic excuse of a human they were. Yeah. Oh, that stupid prat in the past where they said, oh, Who wants to look at you, WarLike Ref, with your nips showing or your top off? Well, to be honest, who the fuck wants to look at your mug? No one. Crooked glasses? Bloody dog-like hair? Pfft, no thanks. Been dragged through a bush backwards? Maybe. Now, that's only me being very polite there, in case you're wondering. As I said, I am sensing it's worth defending myself, of course, right? I'm not creating conspiracies. I'm not starting rumours. Other people tend to be good at that, as I've seen in the past. I'm just simply here to learn. And so other people who do watch my channel who may not know this case learn. And then use what I've learned in previous cases and apply it in this one. And it seems like some of the key people in the case, Caden Pressey's brother appreciates what I've done on the case. The admins on the Facebook page appreciate what I've done on the case. I must be doing something right, you know? The way I see things at the end of the day, the majority of the human race could detest me. Oh, well. But the key, important, influential, significant people in this world, even if they are the 0.5%, approve or acknowledge what I've done. That's all that matters, right? Luckily, though, right now in life, majority of people are quite positive, such as on YouTube. But when there are serious claims made which could harm my credibility, I do have to defend myself, and I should be able to. I've done it in the past, I'll do it again. Will I do it over and over again? No, I'll try not to. But if it's serious, I will. Because why not? It's common sense. Take this, though, as like some kind of learning or awareness that the way I see it is, whilst previously it's been somewhat okay, ever since the presence of myself, some things have turned upside down, whether that be on Reddit, whether it be on Facebook, maybe some people parting ways, or some people out there not getting on well with one another, a bit of tension all of a sudden, not because of me, but it's just the timing of when I came about, and then suddenly I'm starting to see the cracks within people. And I'm not talking about those in the case, I'm talking about those in the community who aren't even a part of within the case, right? I'm seeing the cracks show, fragmented, misunderstanding, miscommunication. Oh, I'm seeing it all as time goes on. So, you know, if things do implode on themselves, fine, whatever. The last stronghold here, WarLike Ref, still remains and it's still under control, okay? And let me tell you something. Maybe I can't do it every day or, you know, like for a year straight. But forever how long the case goes on for, and as long as there are stuff to talk about and eventually more and more ideas from my mind and concepts, however long that may be, then obviously that's what I do. And with resistance, provided I'm not outright shut down, and luckily in recent time, that's not the problem because I've done nothing wrong, as YouTube has clearly said, well, I can continue onwards, of course. And to those that weren't aware before, I am continuing covering this case as long as there are things to talk about, old or new, or even the future, maybe predictions. I've got the usage of a map, endless tools there, some footage and photos here and there with maybe the odd timestamp which can be applied to the maps as well. It can all integrate with one another. And then patient people along the way which can help answer questions which I might reach out. See, this is the other thing. Even if people said, oh, you don't know this, you don't know that, so what? What's the problem? You would have been in a situation at some point in life where you didn't know. So why make it a big deal? You would have been in the same spot at some place in life. Typical. And as well, the fact that a more established channel actually reaches out to audience members and put the trust in them for a question to be answered, that should be shown as a form of respect, right? And not that I'm interpreting it like that, because that would seem narcissistic, but, you know, outsiders should acknowledge it. That someone like me, of my caliber, the fact that I am reaching out to like the general public or certain people that have been associated with the case for some time, that I'm reaching out to them as example, what, for guidance or for a question to be answered, that should be seen as respect and acknowledgement from me acknowledging to them that they are obviously more experienced. You know, so much advanced stuff going on all around, but obviously it's not noticed or talked about unless WarLike RAF introspection class needs to be brought back as well. Seems like a lot of things that need to be brought back. I think the detention and naughty seat needs to be brought back, and I don't even know if we've got enough seats present for people to sit on. Yeah, typical. This video, a little bit more informal, but so what? You know, we've got a more focused discussion coming out later, whether some outsiders don't like it, tough shit. Okay, what are you going to do? Sorry, what? Nothing? Oh, okay. Well, thanks for watching. Goodbye. See you later.